Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursdays Live with Chugh. Each week, we cover pressing topics that matter to you and your business. My name is Arianna Gonzales, and I'm the Client Services Manager here at Chugh Attorneys and CPAs. Please join me in welcoming Michelle Masurkar, our Global Mobility Specialist specializing in overseas admissions from our Hyderabad, India office. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Arianna. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. So for today's topic, we will be talking about everything you need to know before studying abroad, the pros and cons of studying abroad, do you need health insurance, and how to make sure you get the most out of your studying abroad experience. So Michelle, let's get started. Why do students go overseas to study? What's your opinion on that?
Well, there are a number of reasons why students go overseas to study, Arianna, but I think one of the main reason why a person would leave his host country or leave his home country and then go down to the host country is because of the desire to learn from the best educators and the institutions. So also they are being exposed to new cultures, language skills, career opportunities, personal development are so many of the, what they feel, what they see, what they can get by exploring options in other countries. So universities give students practical experience. They provide them with both off-campus and on-campus experiences, and basically they just equip them for a better tomorrow. And yeah, this is what helps all students, and this is what they look for.
Thank you so much for covering that. So just for everybody tuning in, a quick disclaimer, this conversation is for just conversational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship, so please comment your questions below or email us at info@chugh.com. Next question, Michelle. So let's talk a little bit more about the academic and personal benefits of studying abroad and how students can make the most of this experience.
Right. So exposures to new perspectives, studying abroad provides the students who go abroad with an opportunity to experience different cultures and also different ways of thinking. Now, this exposure helps students gain a broader perspective on issues and ideas, and also develop the critical thinking skills. They also, by studying abroad, they get a unique opportunity to learn a foreign language, probably a culture which can accelerate language learning, helps in fluency, and also studying abroad, you have so many different academic programs, courses that are not available in your home institutions. So this adds to this CV or the resume of the student. That is from the academic benefits. Definitely, you're working with diverse groups, you communicate with different people, you learn different languages, but also personally, you get to network, you have so many opportunities, you meet so many people, and there are connections that you make for future also. And the biggest thing I think that students get from studying abroad is the adventure and the exploration. So they explore new places, try new cuisines, engage in activities that probably are not available to them in their home country. So it's an exciting experience for them. It creates lasting memories. And I think more so it's a life-changing experience, both academically and also personally.
It sounds like a great once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that everybody should definitely
Absolutely.
So what kinds of things can I study overseas, Michelle?
You can study whatever it is you want, wherever your interest is, whatever your career goals are. So there are numerous options. You just need to see what your interest is, where your career goal is. For example, Arianna, very recently we had a student who left for France to study to be a pastry chef. Okay, and now we have somebody who's in line going to Germany to study photography. So I think sky's the limit. You can just explore whatever options you find comfortable with yourself. These days, STEM courses and courses in management or, MS are not the in thing. people are expanding their horizons into something that is a lot different, very new. Like I said, photography, pastry chef, and hospitality. So it just depends on where your interest lies and what you would like to study.
Thank you for covering the diversity of those options. So I know we have quite a few Indian students that come to us for help to go study abroad. So what is the best place, in your opinion, for Indian students to study abroad?
I'll come back to the same thing, Ariana. It all depends on where your interests lie, on what you want to do. So I think there is no best place or worst place. I mean, we would look at what you want to study, and most of the students, what they tend to do is they follow something which we call as a herd mentality. So just because my friends have studied there, or just because my family is there, we want to go there. Uh, Sometimes it may not be the best place because of what your background is, what your education is, what your academic background is. So we need to look at all that before we can suggest. Now, somebody's going to, like the little girl, like the person I told you about earlier, she wanted to be a pastry chef. So we suggested France to her because, that's where, the courses are on cooking and pastry and, baking and whatever she wanted. Her interests were at that part of the world. And, somebody who wants to do hospitality is going to Switzerland because that. So again, it varies from person to person, it varies from interest to interest. And wherever your interest, the world is your oyster. Just go out there and explore it.
Thank you for talking about all of those options. So can you talk a little bit about how we can get admission into university?
Yeah, so that is the core. First, like I've been saying right from the very beginning, is your interest. You need to first find out what your interest is. What are you interested in doing? What are your career goals? What do you want to achieve from your study in the university and in the university abroad? So you need to put that down, and then afterwards start looking for universities that offer you those courses that fit in within your budget, and not just budget in terms of fees, but also living expenses. Uh, make a note of all that, and then start applying towards those universities.
Great, thank
So
you for talking about those
a lot of
important
research, a lot of research needs to go in before you can finalize.
Great, thank you for talking about that. So obviously these students need to obtain a student visa in order to study abroad. So can you talk about the requirements for this visa and what documentation do they need to prepare for this process?
Yeah, yeah. The student visa, Arianna, is the last. It's the last thing that you need to do would be your student visa. The first and the most important thing would be your admission, or even before your admission, is zeroing down on the universities, zeroing down on the courses that you want to study. Then you go down to the universities that are offering those courses, apply to them for admission. And once you get an acceptance letter from the university, once the university accepts your admission, then you need to apply for the visa. So at the time of visa application, definitely you would need to have an admission, acceptance from the university for your course. And along with that, then you need to have your financial document showing that you can pay the fees for that particular course that you have opted for. You have enough to take care of your living expenses, and then of course your background, your mark sheets, and your academic qualifications and testimonials that you need to have in place. But most important is first to get your admit.
Thank you for talking about the importance of that order and also mentioning the financial requirements. We will definitely get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about any specific entrance exams for university admission. What's your experience with this? Are there any exams that students need to be prepared for?
Yes, there are certain universities. Let me say yes and no. There are certain universities that do ask for you to do a SAT, or you need to do an English speaking, which is your IELTS or your TOEFL examination. It depends, again, university. They do ask for entrance exams, but that is not there in all universities. So that again comes at the time of when you are deciding the course and the university, to look and to see which university asks for an entrance. And when it comes to the undergrad courses, most universities do not ask for an entrance exam. Or even for the postgraduate courses.
Thank you for clarifying that. Just for everybody tuning in, a quick disclaimer. So we are live on YouTube and this conversation is for informational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. So please comment your questions below or email us at info@chugh.com and make sure to like this video if it's helpful. So let's go into the application process, Michelle. When should students start this application process?
As early as possible. So because, like I said, firstly, you need to, when you're talking about application process, I mean, you first need to find what course you're doing. So, you need to start your research. Before you start your application process, you need to start your research. Now, if I want to do a master's or an MBA in project management, which are the universities that offer me these courses? What is the cost involved? When I say project management, what does it cover? What are my career prospects? What does the university have in terms of placements for me? So there is a lot of research that you need to do. So once you do your research, once you zero down on that, then you can start application. Then you start your application process. And application should be at least not less than 6 months before the term intake. So now all colleges are starting in September. Now is the best time to start applying for colleges for the September intake. In fact, it's a bit late, I would say, but yeah, now is a good time to start.
Great. Thank you for stressing the importance of that. So earlier you mentioned a little bit about the financial aspect of studying abroad. So can you talk a little bit about the costs associated with studying abroad and what financial resources are available to students to cover these expenses?
Okay, costs of studying abroad are, the biggest cost factor here would be your tuition, the fee, your admission fee, your application fee, and then comes the tuition fee, the fees for your semester, the fees for your entire course. That would be a big chunk, of what would be required in terms of monetary funding for you. Apart from that, you would also need for your living expenditure. So you would be staying in a new place, in a new country. So you need to have place to stay. You need to have, your food, and you need to take care of your entertainment. So yeah, your living expenditure, that's your cost of your, what we would need to factor in when you are talking about budgeting for your
Great.
admissions.
Thank you for mentioning that. In your experience, are there any scholarships or financial aid? A little bit about how they can apply for those resources?
Yes, scholarships are available, but they vary from institution to institution. Certain institutions do have scholarships that are open to students. Certain institutions do not offer scholarships. The best thing a student could do is when he is applying from his home country, to see whether whether there are any scholarships that the home country gives them. Some of the students, especially coming from India, have government of India supports certain communities, in terms of scholarship. There are various scholarships available for various categories. So you can look at your home country to see whether, they can sponsor you, what are the cost scholarships available for you from the home country. Institutions also do provide scholarships. Most of them are merit-based. So if you fall in within the merit, you have that kind of marks or those scores, then you can apply for those scholarships. But again, not all institutions would give you scholarship. It varies from institution to institution. And you have to be a really top performer for you to be able to get institution scholarships. The best would be to check with your home country and see how your government or the country your community supports you in terms of scholarships.
Thank you so much for talking about that. So make sure to check with your home country about any scholarships before you go to study abroad. So thank you so much for sharing your insight on that, Michelle. So let's talk about, an education agent's assistance for preparing this application. In your experience, do you think that people need an education agent's assistance for preparing their applications?
Yes, Ariana. I think definitely you would need an education agent. Though these days, thanks to pandemic and the COVID and everything, whatever happened in the last 2 years, everything now is available online. So even your applications, you can do it online. I'm not saying it can't be done. And there are students who are doing their applications online. But it is such an ocean out there. It is so complex in terms of filling in the application, getting your documentation, putting it all together, that it will take you time because you need to understand what is required. You need to understand the documentation. Um, I know of somebody who came to me much later saying that they tried to do their documentation and everything by themselves and then realized that they had missed a step, and it was too late to do anything about it because admissions had already closed. So yes, education agents can provide a range of services to help you navigate the process of studying abroad, like find. And what an education agent can do firstly is help you find a course that is suitable for you. Okay. So I might want to do something which is in data analytics, for example, right? My interest may be in data analytics, but I do not have the background for data analytics. So can I do it? So that is something an education agent will be able to tell me. And if I can do it, which are the institutes that would offer me this course, keeping in mind that I do not have the background or the academic background of what is required for a data and to be a data analyst. So definitely you need an education agent to guide you right from the very beginning, suggesting the right course for you, suggesting the right university, then assist you with the application process, the documents that are required, in what form they are required, what is the format that needs to be. And one of the most important documents is your SOP, or what we call the statement of purpose. That has to be written really, really well, because it is like your cover letter in your H1s or something. If that is not written well, then the chances of admission are very low, because your most admission officers would read that, and also your visa officers would look at your statement of purpose. Why? Because as the name suggests, it's SOP, statement of purpose. So that will tell you why you are going to US, UK, Canada, Australia to study. What is the purpose of that? What do you want to do after you have studied there? So your SOP needs to be written very well. And an education agent with experience in these areas can help you write that SOP, which will look impressive and also be truthful. That is also very important, that what you say in your SOP has to be truthful. You just can't say something for the sake of saying it. And you do need an agent to guide you. You do need an agent to handhold you, and you do need an agent, at every step of the way. Scholarships. Again, your agent would be able to advise you because they would have information on, what are the scholarships available for you in this area. So at every step, you do need an agent. It is very important. But of course, it's a matter of preference. Some prefer to do it without, some prefer to do it to go through an agent. My experience would be go through an agent. It would say it may be a little more expensive, but it will save you in the long run.
Thank you, Michelle, for covering the benefits of hiring an education agent and the importance of the SOP letter and what that can do for your admission. So thank you so much for talking about that. I know everyone is wondering, do we need health insurance when we go to study abroad? How can we make sure that our health is covered? Can you talk a little bit about this?
Yes, health insurance definitely is required. I think that is also part of the requirements when you are at the time of submitting your application. You need to show that you have health insurance. A few countries have health insurance, as part of their fees. It's there in their college fees, but and for few it is optional. But you need to get a health insurance. It is always better to have health insurance because you never know what can happen at any time. So it's always a good thing to be, covered with a health insurance. So check your college, your agent again. The agent will tell you whether your college fees covers health insurance and you need to take a, or you need or you do not need to take a separate insurance.
Thank you for letting us know about that. That's very important information. So make sure you check with your school. So how can students get involved in extracurricular activities, Michelle, and volunteer opportunities while they're studying abroad? And what are the benefits of doing so?
Extracurricular activities, like the name suggests, there are extracurricular activities. So look at your notice board, join your college clubs, see what the universities or your school has to offer you in terms of extracurricular activities. Lots of universities, they have so many different clubs and sub clubs that you can join and take part. And the biggest benefit of an extracurricular activities is you're learning something new. For one, you're networking, you're getting to meet a whole lot of people. Because suppose I join, for example, a music club. Now, everybody though there in the music club need not necessarily be from my course or my stream of study. So there are, somebody with a different set of people, with a different mindset, with a different way of thinking. So when I get to meet new people, again, different cultures, different countries, different cultures, and there's so much more to learn. One, two is it also adds to your resume. It also adds to, what you have learned. And it tells so much that when you're writing your resume for your job prospects, it adds to that too. So extracurricular activities are as important as your regular activities. You need to, ensure that you take part in at least two of them, join two clubs while you're there.
Thank you for talking about that and how important networking is for future opportunities and things like that. So do you have any tips for students who are trying to prepare for the cultural differences and potential language barriers that they might encounter while they're studying abroad? Are there any resources available to support them? Can you talk a little bit about that?
To prepare themselves, I think, they could just talk to people who have already gone abroad, who are already in that country of their choice. Most students, yes, the US of A is their number one choice, but there are students who also go to countries in Europe and Australia, UK, Canada are also there. So definitely read up about those countries, what was expected, what is the language. Like Canada, they speak French more than English. US, of course, it's English based, so there's not much in language difficulties. But if somebody is going to Germany, then definitely you would do a little course on Duolingo with German. Talk to people who've already been there. And like I said earlier, most of the students would go someplace because my friend is there or somebody from family is there. So, you just create a network, create a group, and try to find out what is happening in that country, what are the do's and don'ts, or what to expect, and how to watch YouTube videos on that, and
That's
educate yourself. Yeah, educate yourself about that country, because you're going to a new country. There are customs that you're not aware of, which you need to be, which you need to respect. So you need to be aware of certain customs. So, so you need to read up on that country before you go there.
Thank you
do
for
a short
talking.
language course. Do a short language course if it's a foreign country where it's a foreign language and you're not comfortable. You don't know the language, like French or German.
It's definitely important to educate yourself and learn about the culture, the language, and everything like that. YouTube videos are a great idea. Reading books and stuff like that is also a great idea to stay up to date on that. So do you have
I did not suggest reading books because I don't think in today's many of them would read books. It's always
That's a good point.
YouTube or your Snapchat or Insta or something like that. So I think the best way for the students for today is YouTube. Just learn everything from YouTube.
Exactly. That's a good point, Michelle. So do you have any tips for choosing the right program or university for the overseas education experience? Any factors that students should be considering in this decision?
Yes, the main factor to consider is follow your heart. I think you should first see what you want to do. Don't follow the crowd. Don't do a course or go for something just because everybody from your class or your college or your school is doing that course. Do it because you are passionate about it. Do it because you go for that particular course because you feel that that is what your career goal is. That is what your option is. And and if you do something that you love, then you're not working for it, right? You would just enjoy doing it. So do something. I mean, pick a course, pick a subject, pick a university or a place that you would enjoy and being there and studying that.
So lastly,
And of
Michelle.
course, yes. And of course, yes, please keep budget in mind. Coming from a parent, as a parent, I would say please keep budget in mind. But yeah, definitely follow
Thank you
your
so
heart.
Thank you for those tips, Michelle. That's very important to remember. Lastly, do you have any advice for how students can make the most of their studying abroad experience and make sure that it has a positive impact on their professional and personal development?
Uh, I think this, like I said before, just enjoy what you do. Don't get into any kind of legalities. You're there to study, so do that. Learn and just be positive.
Are
Just be
there any
positive where you are. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say any benefits to hiring an attorney to help you through this process, because I know it's quite a bit of paperwork and documentation that you have to get through. So
Yeah,
what are the
yeah,
benefits of hiring an
which
attorney?
is what I was saying. You need attorneys, you need education agents to help to guide you through this because there is a lot of paperwork. There are a lot of legalities that are involved in this. So it's always better to have somebody who's been there, and an education agent or an attorney. They're not doing this for the first time. They have seen you are not their first student. They've seen so many before you and they'll see so many after you. So they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have the know-how on how to do it. So definitely go with an agent. Don't make the mistake of trying to do it on your own.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much for your time and for talking about this with us. So this does bring us to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please
Thank you for having me, Arianna.
Thank you so much, Michelle. To stay up to date with us, please subscribe and follow us. Please press the like button and make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified of our next upload. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to email us at info@chugh.com and make sure to join us next week. We're back with more pressing topics that matter to you and your business. Make sure to stay safe and take care. Thank you, everyone.